Hey, what's up guys? So we're here to showcase off and talk a little bit about Last Epoch, my first impressions from this game. Since I do stream a lot of ARPGs, for those of you guys that maybe came in from Pagan Online, we'll kind of compare those two games because a lot of you guys have asked what's the difference between this and that game. So let's go ahead, hop in right with the character creation. I'll show you guys the different classes available in the game, as well as go over some gameplay of the class that I currently have, which is the Acolyte. But anyways, this is the character creation screen. It actually reminds me a lot of Diablo 2, where you see all the characters and you get to select one. So there are other options. You can play solo, hardcore, or basically masochist, which will have a higher difficulty. So you have your base class. Now over in the top right, you'll see it says Acolyte, but they can ascend to a Lich, a Necromancer, or a Warlock. The Warlock is not implemented in yet, but basically you start off as this, and then you'll have like a skill tree or a passive tree that you can actually put points into, and then later on there's like another tree that you'll have access to, and I'll show you guys that. But you can't click on any of the skills, so we can't see any of those. So if you guys want to see all of the classes in the future with their skills in action, I'll definitely upload that later online, but of course we'll have to level up the characters. So if you want to see that, just hit subscribe, and when it's out, you'll know. But the other class that we have right here, which is basically the outline of a character, that one's not implemented in yet. Keep in mind this game is in beta. It does cost money, just as a heads up. It's $35 right now on Steam, to answer that question. Next up, we have the Primalist, though. They can ascend to the Beastmaster, the Shaman, and the Druid over here. And then we have the Sentinel, which can ascend to the Void Knight, Forge Guard, and the Paladin. And again, you can't click on any of the skills as of right now to like see like what the heck the ability does. But you can technically just make the character, and you can kind of read the description, but you can't see like a little video gameplay. Next up, we have the Mage here, which can ascend to the Sorcerer, as well as the Spellblade and the Rune Master, but that one is not implemented in yet. There's another class over here which can ascend to another 3, which I think is kind of cool. Let's go ahead and go back, and I'll show you guys some gameplay of the Acolyte, and then I'll talk more about what separates this action RPG compared to other ones that I have recently played. And there is a lot more depth to this game than Pagan Online. If you guys maybe followed me for Pagan, let me go ahead and actually kind of showcase off what's different. So we're going to go ahead and cast some skeletons, cast our golem, summon a bunch of stuff, and then we're going to hop into some gameplay, and you guys can kind of see how this game works. But basically, this game has so much more depth than Pagan because the skills in this game each have their own skill tree, which, I mean, for the dev team, that's kind of a nightmare to have to work on, but for us, the players, that's really cool. Now, as far as like first impressions, this game, obviously it's still in beta, as you guys can see in the top left. Optimization is a huge issue. Even like other bigger streamers, they're having frame rates drop. It's the optimization in this game, so don't worry too much about that. I want to say that that's something that they will most likely be able to fix. There are other like things in games where like there's just no fixing, right? But I think that gameplay optimization in terms of like frame rates, that should be fixed in the future. I mean, I have a GTX 1080. I should be able to play this game without dropping frames, especially when I'm streaming it. Since I do stream it at 1080p 60 FPS, sometimes I will have drop frames. In fact, in this recording, you might see some drop frames. But you can see also you can get negative mana, so it will let you cast a skill if you don't have the amount of mana that you need, but you can't cast another one until you actually go back to at least like 1 mana. But as far as items in the game, there are uniques, and when you do drop them, there'll be like this giant beam of light, which is kind of cool. But again, what really separates this game is the specialization. So you have all of these skills, and when you level up, you'll just get the skill. Like at level 22, I'll just get the skill. I don't need to put any points into it, but you have these specializations, and each one has its own individual level. And as you level them up, you'll have a skill point to put in. The skill that I'm pretty much using right now is called Hungering Souls, which is this thing. It just basically finds a target and it will hit it and it will do damage. Now, what's really cool with this game, it shows off that it calls forth 5 Hungering Souls that seek out enemies, and they will deal necrotic damage and then possess the target. Possessed enemies take necrotic damage over time for 2 seconds. Enemies cannot be possessed by multiple souls at once, so it's a necrotic, it's a spell, it's a damage over time, and it can scale off intelligence. So it tells you what you should be building towards, which I think is really good in a game. It's not just like, oh, just get intelligence, you'll be fine, because there's items that will give you, let's say, elemental damage. Now this one, Tome of Elements, which is a unique ancient tome over here, it does give us 2% of elemental damage leech does life. Elemental damage is going to be different over here. You can go into more stats, and you can see exactly what the heck certain things are. And when you mouse over it, it gives you that description, which I love in an action RPG. It's not just intelligence, increases spell damage, right? But it's just adding that extra layer of depth is really cool. So anyways, going back to like how great these skill trees are in this game. So Hungering Souls, like I said, I cast it, it deals damage. I put points into this, deals more damage. Then I'm making it so there's a 5% chance to cast Hungering Souls when hit, but it can no longer critically strike. Now this skill over here, it says you can no longer cast Hungering Souls manually, but it deals 100% increased damage on hit. Now, if I put points into Risen Hatred, there's a 6% chance per point to cast Hungering Souls when hit. It does do 20% reduced damage on hit per allocated point. So I can put points into this, and I can just make it cast when I actually just take damage. Now over here, there's another one where there's a chance to cast it when I'm hit. So if I put a point into this, I can't cast it manually, but I can just get free casts of it. So that's kind of cool. And that's what I plan to do. So therefore, I don't even need to put this skill on my skill bar anymore. So it completely changes the skill. I can't even cast it, but when I take, when I get hit, there's a chance that it will cast because I'm putting stat points in this. And I can make it so it calls less souls, but deals more damage. There's ones where I get increased damage on hit per allocated point if I control a minion. There's ones where I'll do increased damage when I cast Hungering Soul, so I can just basically do more damage over time. You can also change it so it reduces the angle of the cone, so you can kind of focus your fire. There's a lot of things that will change the skill completely. Now going into my skeletons over here, I have of course the summon skeleton skill, which just summons the minion, but I can put skill points into it to make me gain archers, or I can put points into it so I can increase the maximum number of skeletons, but they take increased damage. So they'll die faster. But I also have Osumancy over here, which every time I cast it, it's going to cost more mana, but I can summon an additional skeleton. So if I really wanted to, and the build that I'm currently working on right now, by the way, I don't know if this is a good build, but I'm just trying it because it's unique. And that's what I love with action RPGs that have the ability to customize your stuff, is I want to make it so I'm going to summon a bunch of skeletons. I'm going to eventually get the skeleton archer, so they can basically sit in the back and not take damage, because this is going to make it so they take increased damage, but I can have more. I'm going to make it so I'm going to be tanking the damage, and then when I get hit, there's a chance that it will just summon those souls. We also have a mobility called the Transplant. Basically, it explodes where we were, and it's just going to basically deal some damage. But I really like this skill, and later down the line, I'll have another skill that I can just spam. And then in addition to that, while I'm taking damage, there's a chance that it will just spam this ability. So that's kind of cool. And then going into my passives over here, which is a completely different tree. There's just so much to this game. Really, I feel really excited to play a game where there's just so much stuff to try out. And if you've played Pagan Online, you kind of feel like you're doing the same thing over and over. And the drops in that game just tend to be just damage. There doesn't seem like there's an item. I've only gotten one legendary in Pagan, but it just added more stats. But going into the passives over here, so you can see I'm an Acolyte right now, so I have this tree over here, and some of the things will require a connection. And some of these will require more points, especially on the skill tree for every single skill. Like I mentioned before, you can equip any of these skills, but you can only have a few specializations. You can also just despecialize any of them and just select another one if you want to. You can also reset your passives in town, but you can see over here, there is a passive tree. I have Blood Pack, so I deal increased damage, but if I've killed an enemy in the past 4 seconds, my current health is drained by 5% per second. Now, if I combo that with this over here, Mania of Mortality, whenever a nearby enemy or ally or minion dies, I have a 10% chance to gain 13 ward per allocation point. Ward is kind of like a shield, if you will, that goes over your health. And then on top of that, I can put more points into this, so it grants ward retention, because ward doesn't last forever. It's a shield that kind of goes away over time. But basically, I'm making it so if I kill an enemy, I kind of mitigate the Blood Pack, because this is going to increase my damage, but I have life drain on myself. Now, going further into other skills over here, there is a skill called Rip Blood, which does damage, and then orb is drawn back to me, restoring 10 health when it reaches us. Now, I can make my Golem actually have that ability as well. Summons a Golem, then it rips blood, And it says the hunger node also applies to blood golems rip blood. So you can see that there's other things that will trigger off of other things, and that's pretty cool. I like that. So this is our golem right here. This is our bone golem, but we can modify that blood that golem to again be a blood golem. And there's also basically there's a higher golem. There's like a lot more customization. Again, that's what I really like with this game. I'm gonna go ahead and put back the summoned skeletons over here. But that's what I like with this game, is it does offer that customization, the depth that I really felt like Pagan Online lacked. As far as the gameplay plays, it feels decent enough. Like, it doesn't feel like it's terrible. I feel like Pagan Online, and the reason why I'm going to compare these two is because while I was streaming, again, Pagan Online was the most recent ARPG that I've been playing that is newer, and I had people come in and of course ask, you know, what's the difference between this and Pagan Online, and they're also asking which one should I get. Pagan Online definitely feels more polished, 100%. This game offers a lot more depth, and I feel like that to me means a lot more because Pagan Online, while it did say that they will change up the skill tree, because right now it's just like damage integers. It doesn't really change the skills. And because there's like your skill bar, you get, I think it's like level 12, you get your entire skill bar, and then that's it. Like, there's no more new skills. That's kind of not satisfactory. When you look at a game like last Epoch, you have not only the base class that has all of these skills, and you'll get all the skills, you can test them all out. You have skill trees for every single skill. Like, if I go to Harvest, there's another skill tree. If I go to, let's say Transplant, which is our teleport ability, some of them might not be available as of right now. But when you click them, you can see that you can go into all of these things. That's huge for me. And then, like I mentioned before, since there is that secondary class, once we get Necromancer, we have a whole nother set of passives, and you click on preview passives and it goes even further. That's where I'm like, dude, this game is awesome. But, oh wait, hold on, we gotta kill these enemies so we don't die here. Now, you can teleport like literally 1 inch in front of you, and that way you still get the damage. And like the cooldown on this is really short, which I love, having mobility have a very short cooldown. But going into the crafting, because there is a lot of crafting in this game, so you get these affix shards, and you can add these and augment an item, which I think is really cool. It's kind of like PoE crafting in a sense, but like you don't need to wait till like endgame, because I know in PoE sometimes you'll just like roll random stuff. It's not like you're gonna like alch something that you get early on anyways. You'll probably just go on PoE trade and get something much better. But I like that they do offer that ability to customize your items early on, because you might be just looking for a very specific thing on an item. And you can also stash the crafting materials. You can see the crafting materials if you want to basically add stats to an item. Basically, build your own item. I don't really have anything that's like super insanely good. Like I said, I do have one unique right now. It just gives us movement speed bonus, but there is the availability of uniques that can modify a build, which I actually really like in the game. I haven't really gotten towards the end game of this game yet, but I still think there's so much more to discover, especially if you like to mess around and just basically see new content. This game, I would say, is better for you. If you're looking for a more polished game, though, Pagan Online definitely offers that. I mean, I do like both games. I'm not going to really say I think one game is way better than the other, because they're both in early access, and obviously later down the line, they will get more content. And that is something that I will be looking forward to checking it out. But again, new ARPG, it's pretty good. I like, personally, like I said, I prefer the customization and the ability to like, maybe get a drop that can completely change our build. That's really cool. And then once we level up, we got these new passives. We'll get Necromancer later down the line. I probably want to go Necromancer. And I'll be showcasing off all of the classes, because I do like action RPGs. It's one of my favorite genres, and that's why I think a lot of people came in and were asking me questions. You know, what do you think of this action RPG? Because I do play, oh, health on kill, that'll be kind of nice. What I actually really want is like mana on kill. So basically I never run out of mana. I'm also kind of curious, when we have the Hungering Souls cast on hit, I wonder if that actually costs mana. So like those kind of things, we'll have to wait and see. But like I said, if you want to see other classes and more videos on Last Epoch, I definitely plan to make a lot more videos on it. So if you would like to see that, hit subscribe. You'll definitely see more. But let me know, guys, what you thought of it after watching some of the gameplay and after, again, showing you guys that every skill in the game, it has like its own skill tree. Like you'll get more options to have more skills that you modify via the skill tree later down the line as you level up in the game. But this game's pretty cool, and I've been really looking forward to a new action RPG for quite some time, and I feel like this will definitely cure the itch for that. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like on it. Like I said, if you'd like to see more of this game, hit that subscribe button, turn on that bell, and I'll get you guys gameplay of like all the classes. I'm gonna reach endgame on the Acolyte first. I'm probably going to be going Necromancer, but I'm going to have to read all of these skills. Maybe I'll see something that's really cool. But again, there's just way more content, not only to be able to make and show you guys, but also like there's more theory crafting in this game, again, compared to Pagan. So that's like the big difference. And at the moment, this game is $35. To answer the question of is this game free? No, you do have to pay for it. But again, I think that there is enough content here to basically be able to satisfy anyone that was really looking for a new ARPG. Whereas again, Pagan Online, you're probably gonna have to wait a while, because I think that until they revamp the skill tree, that game just doesn't have enough content. Especially since it feels like you're doing the same thing over and over. I like that there is this map over here. You can see where there's a bunch of these waypoints and there's different towns that you can access. But like I said, we're just really scratching the surface of this game. But like I said, let me know your thoughts down below. But thanks for watching, guys. Peace out. Have a good one. And if you guys want to see me stream this game, I do stream it, so go ahead and check the description box. You can follow me over on Twitch. I'll be probably streaming this game mostly this entire week. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Peace out, and I'm signing out.